Hi there, it's Sam. You can also know me as a remote girl. I today wanted to talk about the article I read at Portugal might not be that interesting for digital nomads anymore because of certain political changes, because of the reaction of locals, and because of the rising prices and stuff. So I wanted to talk about it because I visited Lisbon and Sintra back in 2021 in summer. It's January 2023 now. And I spent in Portugal about 3 weeks. Overall, my experience was pretty good. Like, I felt there well because of the multicultural vibe. Everyone speaks English. It was like really easy to me to kind of feel like fit in. Yeah, like there are many activities there that you can join, which I really love, so that it's easy to just like, it felt easy to me to just like do things. But it was on a very, like limited level because I spent there about 3 weeks. I was renting out 2 or 3 Airbnbs, and I was just walking around the city. I wanted to get to know it. So what I liked about Lisbon was that it didn't feel to me like having some kind of center where there's everything and then in the rest of the city there's nothing. So to the contrary, it was more of like when you have very interesting some attractions or stuff, cultural events happening and so on, in more remote areas where you have to travel. So this was nice because like it's not so big city, but yet there are really many things to do. I love that the weather was nice, and you can travel a lot around pretty easily, despite I somehow liked the cashless. I prefer the cashless society in Georgia, and in Lisbon I needed cash a lot, like to use the public transport and so on. So it was a bit weird, so that these things were still like requiring you to use cash. I love to just pay public transport with my Apple Pay. But okay, like it's something you can adapt to, and it's not a big deal, like every country has something. But like, of course I know that they announced some kind of digital nomad visa and attracted people to come and stay and pay taxes there, whatever. Like, I know that what happened somehow was something like, hey guys, but you're in the EU, like you cannot have just really too low taxes, whatever, I don't know. So I find it a bit like a scam from the government. The fact that like you announce something and then you change it somehow. Maybe it's just the reaction to people, but I understand from what I understood and what I was talking to people who were there recently, so it got much more socialistic vibe. Well, this sucks, What sucks as well is that they're planning, or they're just discussing, but that means like they want to do it possibly, to make the changes to the visa and to the conditions. So you make people, let's say, get a citizenship, which is not that easy at all, or residency. You make people to invest in the country, and then you change the rules in a year. That's not okay. It's not okay. And I know like the golden visa have been in force since 2012, so fine. But like this recent digital nomad visa, the question of the past 2 years, people came in for the cryptocurrency stuff, and they will be like taxed from 2023. It's not cool either. I think for this perspective, like, it's really good to go to a country that already has an existing legislation on the topic. So, like, I love that Georgia has a written law on cryptocurrencies, that it's not taxed, or it's taxed at 0%. You know, you don't have any evidence, whatever, you don't care. You can just come to the financial office and say, hey, I am a crypto trader and I pay taxes here, and they give you a paper which you be like, yeah, you a tax resident here, kids you live here, whatever. And I find it fair that they already have this covered. They talk about it. You have crypto ATM at every corner here. You have local crypto exchanges. Recently, Binance is opening their offices here. And so they do not plan to make any further, like adjustments, which is very cool. But what I love is that in the country, if the government, let's say, wanted to change the taxation, they have to make a referendum. And just imagine people who would be voting for higher taxes. Like, no. So, like, when you work remotely from Georgia, you're taxed at 1% if you provide certain services like marketing or IT or so on. And it's just so good. It's very easy to proceed. It's easy to submit your papers to open your business here. Like, if you have a business like LLC, it's really better already to have an accountant. But if you just want to be on your own, like a freelancer, so you can really submit everything yourself, and it takes minutes. It's just very easy to do. And I read that people are having problems with just opening the business in Portugal. And that's the thing, the problem is not really the fact that people are moving in. Well, people are moving in for favorable conditions. That's fair. It's totally fine, and I'm happy about. But the fact that, in fact, you have struggles with opening that business or freelance license there in the end, or maybe submit taxes, whatever. This bureaucracy is not cool. It's just so painful. I don't want to even think about it. I just want to have it straightforward, simple, easy, in English, and having enough information available about this. So I know that even I'm from the Czech Republic, and over there I was incapable of submitting a tax report myself because it was just so complicated, like on several pages with so many fields. I didn't understand what they want from me, so I had to pay an accountant for it, and this bureaucracy is really a turn down for most people. Like, I don't know, definitely before moving in, this is something I would consider, because it's such a headache. It wastes your energy you could use totally on something else. But I read that people are having problems with this. That must suck. Another thing is, rising prices for homes. Here in Georgia, there are many people who moved in the past year, a lot. But the thing is that the legislation for building house and so on, it's not so terrible. So you do not have to fill out thousands of papers to build something, and yet it kind of ensures safety still. And I think this is the way to go. So I'm not kind of scared that this situation would stay, or at least it would improve partly based on the market, because I think that there will be just new houses that will be built, but it's because of the legislation again. It's just, if it's simple, then people be like, okay, there's a demand for housing, so we will build new houses, new places, new apartments, whatever, and the things will keep going. As I've been traveling across the country for the past year, what happened is that, you know, you have all this money that have been invested, and they have been invested in the reconstruction, even in smaller cities. So it's really seen that I was like shocked in a good way that things are happening and changing there. So yeah, it's like you really get reconstructed places, the city center, and so on. New businesses are opening, new cafes are opening. So Georgia very well re-entered the opening after the pandemic, let's say, or the pandemic period, because I've been traveling a lot of places over the past years, and like many hotels, many restaurants, many places really closed, and many countries get very poor. But this reinvestment, the capital that came to the country, really helped a lot to kind of restore it. So yeah, like it's a huge opportunity. And getting back to Portugal, you know, like, or actually any place, I don't like it when people be like, oh, we must somehow restrict Airbnb or so. So what's happening really, the problem is not Airbnb itself, you know, like people will keep traveling. So either the money will go to hotels, which means like, okay, so you will rather give money to a hotel chain that is registered somewhere outside of the country, or you will rather pay an Airbnb, which might be owned by a local, so the money will stay over there. And yeah, like the problem is not Airbnb itself. The problem is again the legislation. Like if there's such a high demand on building houses, okay, like you cannot build a house in a week, but maybe somewhere I don't know, unlikely, you know. So it will take some time, but it will sort of recover. But if you have a legislation like in my country, it takes 10 years to just get over the bureaucracy, get over the papers to start building. And of course, if you want to do some changes in the city center, so you're done, because you will get some more restrictions on this, and you will never begin. Like so yeah, if the bureaucracy is that bad, so then people be complaining about rising prices, and we love to say, yeah, it's the reason of people renting out Airbnbs. Well, no, the problem is the legislation, because otherwise you would have new built places. So yeah, like the way out of this is low bureaucracy, low taxation, because, you know, like really attracting capital in the country, it's just so beneficial. But I would point out that, you know, it creates a lot of opportunities, especially for locals. Why? Because if you're local somewhere in a country where there are many like people moving in, you know the ground, you know people, you have contacts. If you speak a foreign language, Jesus, just go and open the business, listen to people, what they are looking for, what they need, and help them out. Because this way you can really make money, you can start your business, you can be really successful, and you can just serve like all these new people who are coming to a country. But the thing is, you know, like the fact that you have opportunities doesn't mean that people will use these opportunities. So yeah, to summarize it again, like keep it easy for foreigners to move in, and they will bring you cash, and they will bring cash to the locals. But keep easy also the legislation for building houses, building new places. And it can be a huge opportunity, but like opportunities are just what they are. Like they're opportunities. You can make use of them or you can just kill them. And yeah, like if people are moving out of the country already, like foreigners, that means something sucks. And of course, like we're all individual. There's not one single country that is best in the world for everyone. It's just not working like this. But like if too many people are moving out, so something hasn't been done well. And yeah, like if you're looking for an alternative from Portugal, so Georgia is actually also pretty sunny. Okay, it's not sunny 365 days a year. It's snowing right now, which is the coldest weather I've experienced here since I moved in 2 years ago. But it's a beautiful country with amazing people and super tasty food. So we're waiting for you here. If you need help with that, let me know. Cheers.